the sequence of event in a story. A narrative is a narrative because it's about the story, not argument or information. The story can have a real or imaginary plot. A plot structure is the way experiences are organized in a story. There are a few common plot structures. Beginning and plot can begin at the beginning of the story and continue chronologically to the end and beginning. Plot can begin at the end of the story and go back to the cause in the beginning. Begin and plot can even begin in the middle of the story and move forward and backward in time. No matter what event needs to unfold logically, so then your readers have all the pieces they need to understand what happened and what's happening. That doesn't mean everything has to be in chronological order, but it does mean that everything needs to fit together and be relevant to the story by the end. How to create a plot? Answer this question to create a solid plot where all events make sense in the reader's mind. Where would it be most interesting for my story to begin? Where do I want the story to end? What's the conflict that needs to be resolved? What change must happen in the plot? What change must happen in the character? What does the reader need to know to understand what's happening? What would be good to keep hidden from the reader to build this suspense? What is the best time to reveal detail you've hidden to build drama? Narrative technology. To develop characters or narrative experience, you can use narrative techniques such as dialogue, which reports the things people say to each other. Example, I'm hungry. One of the kids outside of Sebastian's window said, so am I. And the girl in the green coat. Everybody's hungry this winter. Nobody's been able to get down to the town in the valley for so long. But thinking about it won't make it better. Let's make another snow angel. Pacing, which is the speed at which things happen. Pacing. Fast pacing example. The girl in the green coat lay down, waved her arms a few times in the fresh snow, and stood up, leaving the imprint of an angel in the fresh packed white snow. Snow pace example. The girl in the green coat lay down. For a long moment, she stared up at the blue sky, thinking of warmer days, and the hilltop, which was now covered with snow, has been covered with strawberry. The thought of it made her mouth water. Then the hunger in her belly made her eyes water. After a minute, to distract herself, she spread her arms out in the unforgiving snow and waved them up and down in her side. She was so hungry that she wasn't sure if she had the strength to stand. But when the cold of the snow began to bite into the back of her leg, she found her way to her feet and looked down at the image of a snow angel she had made in the fresh packed white snow. Sensory relate to our sense. Description, which gives sensory information about characters, places, or experiences. Impact, a good way to describe a scene is to think of how it would be experienced through several of your senses. How would it feel? How would it look? How would it sound? How would it taste? How would it smell? But make sure the senses are relevant to the moment you are describing. Otherwise, it's a bunch of meaningless detail to wade through as a reader. Example, Sebastian always waited until it was too dark side, too dark for his mother to see anything before he allowed himself to float out of his bed and explore the quiet house sound. But this time he didn't just explore the house. He flew quickly to the front door, opened it, and flew out into the chilly night. Touch. The scent of the fine smell on the hilltop was strong, but he didn't linger to enjoy it for long. Instead, he dove down the hill, flying at top speed, heading for the city in the faraway valley and the good things he planned to bring back for his family and friends to eat. The fire of fruit and cakes was so clear in his imagination that he could almost taste the sweet and juicy first bite taste. Word choice. Descriptive language should also be precise, which means choosing just the right word. Imprecise example. In the city, Sebastian filled his knapsack with a lot of food. Precise example. In the city, Sebastian filled his knapsack with sausage and mushroom, candies and cheese, so many that the bag strained at the seams. Conclusion. If your story is well written, everyone will want to know what happened at the end. The reader wants a conclusion to the story. In a narrative, a conclusion needs to be two things. Just like an argumentative and informative writing, you should use traditional phrase and signal words in narrative writing. Instead of signaling transition between information or argument, you can signal transition in setting, experience, and event. 1. Follow the plot. What happens at the end needs to follow logically from the events of the story. Example, if Sebastian has to fly down the mountain to get food for his hometown because there are no other way to get there, he can't take the train back. That doesn't make logical sense. 2. Reflective the narrative experience. Characters should act in a way that is consistent with their previous action and thought. Example, if Sebastian hasn't been able to walk before, he shouldn't start walking at the end of the story for no reason. So if Sebastian has been a genuinely nice guy at the whole story, he shouldn't suddenly turn mean. Characters should be vivid and dynamic, which means they should grow during a story. However, a character shouldn't suddenly become something they weren't before without any explanation. That's not good narration. But that doesn't mean there can't be a little surprise at the ending. Example. After everyone else had eaten their fill, the girl with the green coat came over to Sebastian. He had to admit to himself that he had hoped she might talk to him after he found the food and donated to the village, even though he didn't know what he hoped would happen next. Sebastian, she said, pulling his rolling chair around to the side of the house where nobody else could see them. I have something to tell you. Sebastian's heart soared. Was she going to confess she loved him as much as he loved her? Maybe that was too much to hope. Anyway, he thought, the smile on her face was already reward enough. But to his astonishment, she didn't do any of this. Instead, as he watched her green shoe lift neatly from the snowy ground until she was a foot above the earth, then 2 feet, then 2 feet, then 3. I can fly too, she said. Like a shot, she disappeared above him into the clear blue sky.